The Tyler Oliveira situation is low-key crazy as fuck, but I've never even watched him fuck in my life. Because really what I watch on fucking YouTube is basically Valorant, and most of the time some like random bullshit that's like a documentary about like the worst person on fucking earth. You see, that shit that interests me. I'm not like one of those people like that like journalism like absurdly or in the political sciences and all this other shit, but I did watch a guy named Tommy G for a little while. If you know that guy, it's probably because of the Kia Boys video that he did a while ago, where basically he talked about guys that basically hijacked Kias in like Milwaukee and like Columbus, Ohio. Not only that, he covered it in like his hometown, basically I think Milwaukee is where he's from, and then also I know it's in Philly and other places like that. Probably in most major cities there's at least one Kia boy, or at least like a group of them, so I know that they exist, and for that reason that he was covering it because he thought it was interesting, and he actually interviewed some of the Kia boys as well as people that were affected by the Kia boys and those people that are running rampant around in them, as well as for somewhat, I guess, educational purposes on basically how to hijack one in some instances, showing you how simple it actually is to hijack a car, which is fucking absurd because these are the vehicles that get us around every single day, and we paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So content like this definitely has its place on YouTube, but not when it's faked. Tyler has over 7 million subscribers and actually has faked the majority of his videos. Also, he used to be a Mr. Beast fake clone channel. Basically, Tyler has this thing going on where basically VinceVintage is calling him out for the fact that he is basically faking most of his videos. He placed a PS5 and a fucking PS5 controller right next to fucking car that he actually owns to see if people would actually be baited out into walking into it and actually fucking trying to grab shit out of it, or shit, even steal the whole fucking car. Not only that, most of the topics that he covers are covering minorities and how that they are dangerous in some way, shape, or form. It always somehow encompasses black people, and it seems like he's always trying to use them as a ploy for basically content creation. People on this website like FD Signifier and Little Bill that talk about the black plague and actually explain it in a very respectful and kind way, as well as them being actual black creators, and I love them to death. FD Signifier's black media analysis is genuinely one of my favorite things to watch, as well as Little Bill, and actually the history of the like punk black music is fucking crazy, and I actually didn't even know about Noise Addiction or Death if it wasn't be for him. Tyler is a white man that just uses it for the fact of his kind of right-wing audience. His journalism isn't real journalism in actual any shape, way, or form. He's just really going around and kind of like just trying to nitpick certain things, and as well as using fake clips and putting scammers in his videos. He used a completely different fucking state in Florida to discuss an issue and fearmonger people about a situation going on in Oakland. Not only is this shit unprofessional, but also it's fucking abusing the power of basically not having full context. If Vince never actually did any of this research, this shit would be barely brought up in the future, and he would continue to manipulate people and be fearmongered. And shit like this is just how you have to prove to do your own research. This is the thing about ignorance that I was talking about earlier. You need to do your own research and genuinely look at like other things for yourself. You can't just go off of other people's opinions and other people's fucking perception of other shit. You can't let them drag you to be a certain part of the side that you don't really want to be a part of just because you realize, oh, it makes sense due to this certain logic. I mean, you can find things that obviously refute that thing, and you know, it just makes sense. This is how arguments work most of the time, and how people have to make their own opinions, and it's just how it's formulated into your own actual opinions. This isn't the only time that he did that shit. He also used a fucking Pittsburgh clip in the same fucking video. Not only that, the scammer is basically a guy that tried preaching world peace for $10,000. I don't think world peace can be accomplished in $10,000, gang. Not only that, he was supposedly dealing with fucking trouble moving to certain places, so it's just overall a bad person to bring onto your fucking channel as a reputable source in Oakland. Not only that, he's supposedly a very reputable reporter that is very well known, and even though his name comes up as a used car salesman with just a little bit of research. Also, his name is Darren Stallcup, by the way. He's still preaching world peace to this very day, but I'm not gonna lie to you, this motherfucker can't do anything. He's in San Francisco, and I don't think he can cause world peace out of California, of all places. And unfortunately, he's a Niners fan, so I have to actually be in the same fan base as this motherfucker. There's even more further evidence of him using fake clips, because he literally used a Chicago clip in a Memphis video, basically trying to fearmonger people even deeper. And overall, almost every single thumbnail that he has is just of a black guy holding a gun, and he's just pointing at it like he's fucking doing the poker face. Of course, Tyler actually does do a little bit of journalism, I guess you could say, but still, the point is that I still say that it's not entirely investigative journalism, because you're lying. You're lying to people so they can be fear-mongered. Yes, he does bring up problems within the city and the life that people live, but this is really just no different from any other ghetto that is anywhere else. Majority of these fucking places are literally just ghettos. These places aren't abnormal or weird or even that different. They're just ghettos. Most of these hoods that supposedly Tyler goes to aren't the most dangerous places on the fucking world. They aren't, and they never really will be, let alone in America, because most of the time, these places are painted in this way because of the fact that they're a ghetto and supposedly crime happens a lot there, but most of the time, people are just living their normal lives here, just trying to get by, raising their kids. This is just a normal place where people live, and they're painting it in a certain light to make it seem like it's fucking terrible. But of course, people from the suburbs wouldn't actually know about half this shit because they don't live there. So as Tyler's fans, these right-wing propagandists are sitting in their fucking suburban homes with air conditioning and their fucking absurdly goddamn mouthy wives and fucking terrible children that probably say the N-word on Fortnite with their friends. They paint black culture to just be completely malicious and overall violent. But this isn't the only culture he appropriates, as he literally talks to a Muslim woman and literally shows a fucking ISIS protest that supposedly took place in Sweden, where he was, and was supposedly immigrants are being paid $34,000 to leave, when the clip that he was using to show this insane fucking riot that supposedly was happening, or like this outbreak, it was in fucking Malaysia in the first place. Malaysia has more problems with ISIS and Islam, and overall it just is more complicated over there. There was a survey where basically it said 39% of the Muslims that lived in Malaysia believed the fact that you could actually commit bad crimes upon other people if they were enemies to Islam. And of course, not every single person that is Muslim, or even like in the different districts of the Islamic believe on that. It's just certain radicalists, but having a 39% count of people say that is pretty fucking high, and that obviously causes a bigger problem for those people and probably causes more protests, making him use this footage to actually fearmonger people. Now that's what I keep saying, is fearmongering, because that's what he's doing. He makes people feel terrified of these certain types of like groups of people, and makes them seem like these minorities are just like these terrorists, or like these people that are overall just thugs, or they're just dangerous in any way, shape, or form, when really most of these people are just living their normal lives, and they really isn't that big of a problem. And he's overscaling it to a certain point to make it seem like these cultures are overusing these fucking like absurdly aggressive fucking mindsets. So yes, some of these things are problems that do need to be addressed, but they're not on the scale of which he's making them seem, and they are not as aggressive and violent as people are actually saying they are in his journalism. There was an instance where he talked about petty theft, a guy anyway, it wasn't even him exactly, and he was using pictures of a bunch of black guys holding guns to a car. And if you know anything, petty theft is not what that is. Petty theft is a theft that is of $500 or less value and is not used with a weapon. You're just stealing shit, basically. If you just use your brain for 3 seconds, you can just see how many fallacies this guy makes up in like a matter of minutes. Tyler responded with another video that basically disproved most of the points that he brought up. Now, there is still lies and accusations and other shit that was actually genuinely usable and actually did make sense. Tyler did disprove some of the points of him basically buying shit from this antique store for the Civil War, showing that he really only bought one item and all this other shit, and overall it's pointing out some pretty good points, like where he talks about basically Tyler having this fucking video clip of where he used the fucking Chicago shit, and basically said that there was a whole bunch of other videos that he could have used instead of that one that would achieve the same exact effect and would still make sense, and they were actually from Oakland. Plus the fact that he does use clips that are actually from Oakland within the video, as well as bringing up the interviews, as well as a little bit of uncut footage that actually does prove his points, as well as the interviews where he has literal people that have actually been shot and actually due to all of these events. And actually, I saw some of these fucking wounds. They are actually nasty as fuck to look at. As well as a video where he was basically in Jamaica and separated from his tour guide, where he started interacting with people and interviewing them on the street just as like a normal fucking person, so you get of content, as well as the fact that there's literally bullet holes on the trucks in Jamaica, as well as the fact that they get stolen extremely often to the point where his guide had to comment on it, as well as Vince in the beginning of the video also talking about the fact that he's not trying to cancel Tyler, or the fact that he's going to call him a racist or anything, but indirectly does it through certain ways and means, I guess that you could say, as well as trying to negate him from getting the others to actually like network and try and like assistance in video making and other shit like that, and just overall providing information. Both sides do a extremely well job of dismantling each other and actually going for the throat. In my opinion, if you really want to ask me what I actually think, Vince is probably in the correct here because he does use video clips and other shit that is false, and overall his entire point was just to call him a liar. But I genuinely want you to do the research yourself and actually watch both of these videos and do your own fucking research. If you really do want to have an opinion on this shit, I don't really care. I'm not really that entirely interested in shit like this anyway. This is political YouTuber drama, and that's not what the fuck I'm here for. I just thought it was a very interesting situation, and I did a little bit of research on it, and it's a good thing to do. You should genuinely do it yourself. Work your brain and actually see what the fuck you agree with. Now, whether it's either side doesn't mean that you have to actually fucking fight motherfuckers just because of the fact that you believe on one side or the other. This shit isn't like Democrats versus Republicans, and I don't fuck with either side of those either. So if you genuinely do want to know the actual like in and outs of the situation, do more research yourself and actually get even more information. Just watch the two fucking videos and actually go back. I'm not the best person to watch about shit like this, but genuinely, I do just want you to check this shit out because it's so fucking interesting. I love each individual one of you. I hope that you actually do fucking listen to me and actually do your own fucking research. Please take everything I've done in this video with a fucking grain of salt. I swear to God. Listen to Frank Ocean and Jeff Buckley, please. And I'm out this bitch.